Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 1 of A Journey Through Another World, Raising Kids While Adventuring. If I had to sum this series up with a clear mental image, it would be this. My grandmother's homemade old-fashioned donuts with a sprinkle of cinnamon, a cup of hot cocoa with marshmallows, and taking those outside into the chill and watching the Santa Claus parade. This show was warm, wholesome, and sweet, with just that pinch of the whimsical and magical to make it stand out. A perfect blend of family dynamics and warm, fuzzy feels, with that touch of fantasy to make it special. I absolutely can't believe how much I love this, because this was actually number 10 on my list of shows when I did a video talking about stuff I was looking forward to in the upcoming season, and it has just pulled miles ahead of practically everything else I've watched insofar as I am absolutely loving it. This is just such a beautiful exploration of warmth and family and joy and whimsy and magic, and I just can't get over how much I absolutely love it. I really like our leading guy, Takumi. I think that he's pretty cool. I think that he is pretty balanced. I don't necessarily think that he stands out a ton, but when he's surrounded by people like the twins or the wind god Syl, I don't really expect him to stand out tremendously. I think that he does a great job for what he is. I think that it's interesting that apparently he died at 28. He seems a bit younger here in this actual world he's come to, but he seems to be stepping up to the challenge of looking after these kids. And while I can see a lot of memeing going on with the idea that it's like free child labor in another world, if you pay close attention to some of the behaviors that he exhibits and stuff, I don't think that's the case. I think he's doing a pretty good job overall of stepping in when things are legitimately truly dangerous, such as when we had the venomous creatures or when we got to the door in episode 2 and he took on the boss. Now, I mean, if these were normal, real-world children in a setting like this, would I be much more concerned? Of course, but I mean, one of the obvious realities of this show is that the children are massively, absurdly, ridiculously OP, and we also get indication that there might be something of a slightly divine or supernatural element about them as the story progresses. So we definitely have a mystery to consider with regard to that as things move on, which could prove to be very interesting depending on how they go with it. But the cool thing is we have something like that, like the wind god coming and telling him that the water god sent this Fenris as a present for him for looking after the kids, and this connection to the divine in general that Takumi ends up having because of everything that goes down. And then we contrast that to the first half of the second episode, where the big exciting deal is that they've decided they want to make bread that has a filling inside of it. I like that balance. I like that contrast between the whimsical and the fantasy and the magic, and then slowing down and just getting into the real of what it is to live, whether that is finding a comfy bed or figuring out how to do your job or interacting with family members, whether they are from birth or whether they are found as they are in this instant. I think that's really important and really cool, and I think the show does a wonderful job. I really like also how they took time in the first episode to show us how the rules of this world worked, at least to an extent. We totally get the vibe that we are inside of essentially a video game world where creatures disappear like they would in a Final Fantasy game, and they give drops like they would in Final Fantasy or Dragon Age or something. I really like that. And as I said, everything about this sort of mixes fantastical silliness with just honest, earnest realness. The emotional impact, for example, when the children end up attacking that man and Takumi tells them to stop, even though it was hypothetically in self-defense. And their fear is not of the man. Their fear is not of the people at the guild. Their fear is actually that Takumi is disappointed in them and that he might abandon them because of the abuse that they have experienced, because they were previously being taken somewhere to be sold as slaves. It's just wild seeing how the two different elements of the story balance together. It's something I really loved last season in An Archdemon's Dilemma, although that had more of a romance bent to it. But seeing that same kind of familial growing experience of warmth and fuzzies and feels contrasted in a world that obviously has the potential for darker undertones, although openly I'll admit that we don't see it quite as much here as we did there, to be fair, is still a really interesting premise and something I truly enjoy. I look forward to seeing just what's going to go on as the story progresses. It looks like we're getting more magical animals from the gods. I wonder if we'll find out more about what the twins' heritage actually entails and what that is actually all about. Are they actually part divine, or are they purely human, and do they have some other connection to the gods? Or is there something else going on that I do not see? I also wonder how Takumi and Syl's friendship will continue. We see mostly positive interaction between them, but we also do see that rare moment where Syl's entire presence shifts completely when Takumi doesn't want to take a gift, and he suddenly is acting just completely creepy as hell. So that's definitely something to watch out for. The gods in this world hypothetically have a temper issue that can go on, and they can be potentially fickle. So we might have to see how that goes down. I hope that we see more cute and cuddly things, the kids playing, people cooking, maybe Takumi exploring more aspects of the world he came from and integrating them into his new life. And I hope we get more dungeon delving, because the dungeon delving here was actually really fun and really cute. I do wonder, when we met the guard captain and he was talking about wanting to take Takumi back into the forest where Takumi found the twins, I thought we were potentially going to see that. I wonder whether we're going to get that down the road, or whether that was just a reference and each story aspect is going to be more isolated. This series still doesn't seem to, at least in my opinion, have decided whether it wants to be something where things gradually continue in a very tight and linear way, or whether it's going to be a more episodic thing where we have continued overall generalized growth for the characters, in that the twins are trusting Takumi more, they're making friends, that sort of thing. But each episode could potentially be its own adventure. I suppose we'll find that out as the series continues, and I definitely look forward to seeing what they will do with that. But again, I can proudly state that this is definitely one of my favorites of the season so far. This was an absolutely fantastic start to a series, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, have you guys watched A Journey Through Another World, Raising Kids While Adventuring? I'd love to know, so drop a comment and share your thoughts below. Talk to you later. Bye!